Sup, YouTubers? So, this is the download for the day. A lot of different stuff going on. So, I'm sure you guys are kind of picking this up on the Grip Collective. There's a lot of businesses that are really slowing down. This is happening in the Group Collective mostly because, in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of people that don't want to work with other people, right? Just because you've got hierarchies within groups that nobody likes, right? Nobody wants to work for somebody else when they won't listen to them. I mean, this is kind of an age-old problem, right? You leave businesses where it doesn't feel like you're being respected, people aren't listening to your needs aren't being addressed. Pretty simple. People in power positions believe that they have a right to have power over someone else, which is always going to be destructive and self-destructive. It's going to pull you in a position where it's like, okay, I'm tired of this. Unfortunately, a lot of times we feel like we have to work those jobs in order to supply, provide for ourselves, because this world works on money, right? Here's the thing, is at any time we could have, let's say, go 100 years back. You don't have to go work for somebody else. You can partner with people as long as you know who you are and you set the right boundaries, and you can work with other people in a healthy way. There's lots of co-ops out there that have been successful, but you don't see co-ops that really were like expanded into a large co-op, right? I mean, the United States was a co-op experiment. Most people don't really understand this. It wasn't built around centralized power. It was built as a federal republic where the most power in the community was given to the local trial by jury. That the trial by jury was built to have more power than anything in the country, because everyone knew that narcissism creates dysfunction. Period. So when you create a centralized power structure where you flip it on its head, which has happened in this country, in the United States, where you have power from the top down instead of localized power that has more power than the wider, that's why states' rights was a big issue in the Civil War. But when you do that, it creates dysfunction. Businesses have a mega dysfunction, right? A big corporate entity where you've got a board of directors that just throws power down your throat and say, this is what you're going to do and this is how you're going to work, or you're not going to work for us, right? Screw them. Get out of there. Why are we there? All we got to do is create systems where we're working together. I mean, there are so many healers offering healing services in this world, especially even on YouTube, tarot readers, whatever. I read cards every once in a while. Those positions exist because of the power dynamic I just said. And instead of the healer recognizing the problem and saying, look, we are an organism. We need to structure ourselves like a healthy organism. In other words, working together in small groups that expand into bigger groups where the decisions are made in a decentralized way and control is centered into the localized control. We are always subject to our peers, right? Ask and you shall receive. Why aren't we structuring our lives that way? It's a spiritual thing, right? Spiritually speaking, when you hand your power over to somebody else, you've just ruined yourself, right? I mean, why? What are we doing? I mean, for one thing, if you hand your power over to somebody, it's okay to ask for help, and it's necessary a lot of times to ask for help to humble yourself to other people and to make people feel like they are valued, right? That's good. But you don't want to do it in a way that you hand your decision making over to someone else. I mean, that's the worst thing that you could possibly do, right? Yeah. So, what do you guys think in the comments? Who do you know of that's trying to promote decentralization and localized control? I had a phone call the other day, or yesterday. This happened yesterday. It was a survey about the election. And the first question was just whether or not I was going to vote. A, are you very likely to vote? B, are you somewhat likely to vote? C, you're not sure if you're going to vote. D, are you unlikely to vote? Or E, you know you're not going to vote. And I picked E. It's like, no, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to support a centralized power structure the way it's set up in this world. It's totally dysfunctional. It doesn't represent anything. There is no way, even if someone elected me as president, I'll be the first one to admit this, there is no way that I could serve 300 million people. No way. The only thing that I could do is try and structure it in a way so that it was so that it would be self-supporting, A, and self-directing. I don't want to tell you what to do. I am not an asshole. I just want to say, look, do something for yourself. What is it that you have to provide for whatever we're doing? Could be anything. You decide. You decide, do you want to be an engineer? If you want to be an engineer, surround yourself with engineers who want to work with other people in a healthy way. And create something. Find other people that want to create with you, whether they're, and if you need to market something, find marketers that are good at sales to help you and provide for that group and make it equal. Don't place the value of somebody in front of somebody else according to knowledge. That's one of the key things that has really destroyed our world, is when you place one person's knowledge above another person's knowledge. Here's why. If we're living in an infinite universe, and I am ignorant of even one thing, then I am potentially ignorant of an infinite amount of things. That means that our relative ignorance between all of us is pretty much the same. The only thing that we really got to do is treat each other equally, right? And work together in that way. You are witnessing, and this is going back to the way I started this video, you're witnessing the beginnings of a breakdown in the psychology of people that have had their way because of money for way too long. When people stop worshiping that thing and start realizing that the thing that they always were seeking after was spending time together and creating together. I've gone through this personally. I've said, hey, look, this is how I think it needs to be structured. I never got arguments about how it could be structured, only some temporary, devil's advocate arguments to say, well, why would that work versus this? But when you give everybody more equal value, and you make it all decentralized so that people can do what they feel like they need to do for the group, but hold each other accountable for it. And, it's all locally controlled. Where else would you want to go? It would attract, you're creating a magnet. You would create something that everybody would want to flock to. Because the only thing you'd ever have to do is ask the people that are closest to you, hey, what do you want to do today? And eventually, in the long run, money would actually go away. The structure would stay alive and the money would go away because everybody's treating equally. When you don't value each other equally, then you ignore the fact that we are all ignorant of so much that the only thing that we're always going to be ignorant of what happens tomorrow. Why worry about it? And the things that happened yesterday are a mirror image of people fighting over controlling tomorrow. That's what this world is, right? Saving enough and putting it enough in your pocket to control tomorrow. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Sometimes you get downloads and I just feel like I have to reflect what the group collective is going through right now. And this is especially prominent. It's no different between executives in a big business versus let's say, coaches and consultants that are used to having money run one direction from the public. And as that dries out, they're starting to flop around. They're not used to working with other people. They were working in a business that didn't know how to work together before. So then they went to the public and started trying to serve the public but you kind of grow a little bit narcissistic, right? If you can control too much of what you believe somebody else needs, then it becomes harder and harder to work together. Sometimes you don't understand that you gotta be patient and humble to the needs of the other people that you're working with. And that's ultimately what all of us have to do in order to work healthily together. Let go of control. Say, hey, what do you guys want to build together? This is what I want to build. And I'm pretty sure it's probably what you guys want to build too. I want to build systems where energy is free, where there isn't anything that you have to be a slave to somebody else for. I don't have to pay a power company. We have power available here locally. Everything should be local. You should be able to have localized everything, right? And we could do that in a very short amount of time if people did that. You have to quit giving your power over entities that don't want that because they want to siphon all that energy for themselves. I love you guys. I really do. I'm going to pull an oracle card just to see what the oracle has to say about what I just said. Am I speaking truth? Is my voice being heard? I don't know. Walk your truth. Hey, I pulled the walk your truth card. Yes. Okay, guys. I'm going to post this on whatever social media I feel like posting this on. Have a wonderful day. Love you guys. And we'll see you in the next video. Who knows what the next video will be? I don't know. But work together. Learn to work together. Humble yourself to the needs of each other. There will be a mental health crisis that will get worse and worse and worse if you remain narcissistic and try to tell somebody else what you think they should be doing. You have to sell yourself to people to do that. Hey, this is what you need to be doing. Don't do it. All you got to do is figure out how to work together and build stuff together. And then this world will change overnight. Love you guys. Have a great day.